As night fell, the streets glowed softly under the yellow streetlights. Rowan, a 33-year-old black police officer, patrolled the outskirts when he spotted a car moving suspiciously slow. He signaled it to stop for a check. As Rowan neared, the driver's window slid down, revealing a 35-year-old white man who looked irritated. "What's the problem, officer?" he asked. Rowan's gaze shifted to the back seat, where a young black girl, around 9 or 10, sat in a pink dress. Her eyes were red as if she'd been crying, and she clutched a stuffed bear identical to the one his daughter, Josie, slept with. "May I see your documents?" Rowan asked. The man handed them over. Rowan then inquired, "Who is the girl to you?" Coldly, the man replied, "She's billionaire Charles's granddaughter. I'm taking her to dinner with him." Before Rowan could react, the girl whispered, "I'm not," but the man cut her off. "Hurry up. If you don't believe me, call him." At that moment, a white colleague approached, speaking quietly. "Don't complicate this. She's Charles's granddaughter. Let them go." Reluctantly, Rowan checked the documents. Everything seemed in order, so he let them pass. But as the car drove off, something caught his eye, a name tag on the girl's backpack. It belonged to a summer camp for black children, the same camp where Josie was staying. Unease gripped him, especially when the girl locked eyes with him as if pleading for help. Later at home, Rowan couldn't shake the feeling. Without hesitation, he called the camp to check on Josie. The camp, designed as a safe haven free from discrimination, had helped Josie, who once withdrew after being bullied by white kids. A deep, gravelly voice answered, "The girl is fine." Rowan asked to speak to Josie. The man hesitated. "She's asleep. We don't want to wake her." The uncertainty in his tone fueled Rowan's suspicion. Without wasting time, Rowan grabbed his keys and sped to the camp. When he arrived, it was late. The gates were locked, and white security guards blocked his path, insisting the children were asleep. Rowan refused to back down. Urgency took over as he forced his way inside, heading straight to Josie's dorm. As he opened the door, his breath hitched. Josie stood in front of a camera, lights flashing rapidly. A white man adjusted her dress. Rowan froze, heart pounding. His worst fears had come true. "Stop!" he roared, charging at the men, knocking them to the floor before grabbing Josie. She clung to him, sobbing. His voice was firm. "What are you doing to her? What's your plan?" Through tears, Josie gasped, "Daddy, save my friend. They took her away." Rowan's blood ran cold. The stuffed bear he'd seen earlier, the one that looked like Josie's, was hers. No doubt remained. His rage intensified. He restrained the men, seized their phones, and unearthed a chilling truth. This was a trafficking operation. A dark web network auctioned black children to wealthy white men. Camp workers posing as staff delivered kids to dinners, where unthinkable horrors unfolded. Josie had barely escaped. Others weren't as lucky. Determined to end this, Rowan immediately called for backup. The battle had just begun. At the summer camp, Rowan pinpointed where his daughter's friend had been taken, to dine with the infamous billionaire Charles. Wasting no time, he and his team rushed to Charles's lavish mansion, a grand estate known for extravagant gatherings. Meanwhile, authorities ensured Josie and the other black children were safely escorted to secure locations. At Charles's mansion, the lights shone brightly, and laughter echoed through the halls. Without hesitation, the police stormed into the dining room, where Charles, a sophisticated 55-year-old white man, sat across from the frightened black child clutching Josie's stuffed bear. The meal on the table appeared ordinary, but the unsettling space between Charles and the child sent a chill through Rowan. No one knew what would have followed after dinner. As the officers burst in, Charles sprang to his feet. "What is the meaning of this? Who allowed you to enter my home?" he bellowed. The child wasted no time, dashing from the table and throwing herself into Rowan's arms, clinging to him as if he were her last hope. Ignoring Charles's protests, the officers swiftly restrained him, snapping handcuffs onto his struggling wrists. Rowan's voice was cold and unwavering. "Your sickening crimes have been exposed. You're under arrest." As the sobbing girl trembled in his embrace, Rowan couldn't shake the thought, What if Josie had been in her place? Gratitude and fury warred within him, knowing he had uncovered the truth just in time. The investigation revealed a sprawling criminal network tied to influential figures. Families who had entrusted the summer camp were devastated by the betrayal. The criminals running the fake camp, including Charles, were arrested and handed severe sentences. Though other billionaires involved escaped conviction due to insufficient evidence, their reputations were destroyed, their empires crumbling under public outrage. When the case closed, Rowan brought Josie home. Families, relieved and grateful, embraced their children and thanked the officers for their bravery. Josie, her eyes shining with pride, wrapped her arms around her father. Rowan held her close, silently vowing to protect her, and all children, from the darkness lurking in the world. No matter how powerful the enemy, a father's love and courage would always triumph, shielding his family from harm.